Aubameyang finally leaves Arsenal in there as expected, because we all knew that he had traveled earlier in Barcelona with his family to go in for what we call a holiday, but because he knew that his ideal destination was Barcelona, so he kept himself around there. And when he reached there, we really had news around 5 p.m. that the deal was off. Can you imagine that the deal was totally off and it was no longer going to happen, as it had collapsed because of the agree of the payment? By the time what was being discussed was still a loan from Arsenal to a team which goes by the names of Barcelona. But all in all, we've seen that Arsenal really wanted to get this off, and they wanted themselves to get off the luggage of Aubameyang off their trail, and they really did. What really showed this, it's how this deal really came through to come to a happening in here onto the Rokani Media Football, as Fabrizio Romano has gone ahead to announce this deal in there. Remember, a man who goes by names of David Austin came out and said that this deal was totally off, but after an hour the deal got on, because Arsenal just looked on the possibilities of how they can really get Aubameyang off their team, and the only way left was to announce a termination in there, and they allowed him to go out on a free. By the way, it's better to let Aubameyang to go on a free, because if someone earns close to £350,000 a week, that means every month he earns £1.4 million times 5. That is close to £8 million. So if at all a player you are keeping and is not going to play football at your club, you are paying him £8 million in the next 6 months, you would have saved nothing. It will be better. It's better to let him go to Barcelona on a free and he starts his journey there, because you will be saving £8 million. Because even when he was going to be at Barcelona and Arsenal was going to be was not going to be paying him a single penny, they would have gained nothing, because no loan fee was involved. Almost it was like a free. So Arsenal just said, let's terminate this contract of a man who goes by the name of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, their former striker and captain, and they really had to allow him go on a free to a team which goes by the names of Barcelona. Welcome to Rokani Media Football. How are you guys, and where are you watching us from? This is the African Cover Studios that we are broadcasting in live from, and Aubameyang to Barcelona is a here we go, and it has been announced by Fabrizio Romano. But loads of developments coming up in this deal of Aubameyang in there for you, and a man who goes by the names of Fabrizio Romano has really come out and pinned it up onto the pitch in there, onto his Twitter account, and has said that Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang joins Barcelona. Done deal, and here we go. Contract agreed, and now set to be announced, and now set to be unsigned by Aubameyang in Barcelona headquarters. Medical successfully completed. Arsenal will save his huge salary as they wanted. Deal in place. Yeah, they are saving salary and they are saving money, because if at all Arsenal had made a bid of £58 million for Ishak, that means it's a sure deal that they will have Ishak come the summer, because they will be having that money with them. Because 58, if you add on the £8 million they are going to save from Aubameyang, that is £66 million. They'll be left with just £9 million to trigger the buyout clause of Real Sociedad's Alexandre Isak, and Arsenal have been chasing over him for a very long time. So to me, I really feel like the most important beneficiary into this deal is a team which goes by names of Arsenal, because they've been having a player who was not playing football at the club, and he was the most paid. And that means if at all you bring in a player who is really going to sign a new contract at your club, that means you will say, all right, look at Aubameyang, he's not playing as your captain, you are giving him £350,000 a week. They would have used that as the benchmark to come in and negotiate for more in there. So it's better to take him off and keep your team salary not less than £250,000 a week for anyone who comes in for the club. So Aubameyang to Barcelona, it's a here we go, announced by Fabrizio Romano, and no money has crossed hands between Arsenal and Barcelona. You just have to know that the only way this deal could happen was when Arsenal could have accepted to terminate the contract of a man who goes by names of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and they accepted for a termination to take place, and oh my, this really came to a happening in there, and Fabrizio Romano has really come out and announced it. And just some minutes ago, Barcelona will not make an official announcement for signing of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang tonight. The player will arrive as a free agent, so it is not necessary to register him before the deadline tonight. So you now know why an official statement has not been made, because a medical has been undertaken at Barcelona, and Aubameyang, by the time he reached at the offices of Barcelona, he was a free agent, because Arsenal had terminated the contract they had in place with him. So it shows you how much Arteta hated Aubameyang in his camp. It showed you how much Aubameyang didn't respect Arteta. It shows you how much Aubameyang never acted as an example to the players of Arsenal. It shows you how much Arteta has authority onto his team. Because if at all Aubameyang was a very disciplined player, he would have stayed at Arsenal, and no manager would have lost Aubameyang, because you know that what he needed was him to really, he just needed time to get back to find his scoring boots again. But in this situation that Arsenal had reached into, they failed to bring in Vlahovic, they failed to land in Alexander Isak, and the only option they had was to bring back Aubameyang, and the manager says, no, I'm not bringing you in. I'd rather stay with Lacazette and a player who goes by names of Edin Ketia instead of you, is really a very big decision by Mikel Arteta. It really indicates a lot on the behavior of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang in there. We don't know where Javi is really going to be able to tame this young man in here, because he is really not into the right moods of discipline, especially for the teams he plays for. Even he missed out on the AFCON because of him partying hard in Dubai, and by the time they tested him, he tested positive for COVID-19. So it shows you how hard you can tame this Aubameyang guy in there. But he's talented, he can score goals, you get, and this season he looked like he was not into the mood of playing for Arsenal. So these things burst out in December when he was thrown out of the training ground at Colony of Arsenal in there. But I think something was inside cooking for a very long time that we never knew here onto Rokani Media Football and very many other football platforms, because I feel like Arsenal is a team that doesn't look a lot like Manchester United. You get, because Manchester United, everything really, there is the way everything gets out of the dressing room to the media. But Arsenal, there is a way they keep their secrets with them until the manager came out and really let the cat out of the bag. That's when we got to know that something was not okay between Arsenal and Aubameyang in there for you. So to me, I really feel like Arsenal have benefited. You see, people will come out and argue that Arsenal needed Aubameyang. People like Roy Pala came out and said, oh no, Arsenal should get back Aubameyang because they're not going to sign another striker. My God. One player like this, in our language, you have a saying that one rotten tomato will make other tomatoes rot if at all you put them in the same basket. So Aubameyang was a rotten tomato this time round, and Arteta couldn't keep him around his fellow players because he felt like he would spoil the other players. I mean, look at the other players at Arsenal. They are young. They are young. The most performing players at Arsenal: Emily Smith-Rowe, not yet 23. Odegaard is 23. Bukayo Saka, not yet 23. Look at Martinelli, you get, he's like 20, 21. Look at Lokonga, you get Tomiyasu, 24, 25. Kientieni, Ben White, look at Gabriel, look at Ramsdale. When you look at the crop of team and players that Arteta is really trying to groom to come in and play for Arsenal, they don't need to be around a player like Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who does not respect the manager and the laws of the team, because you are captain and you do that shit. Under the look of things, it looked like it was not the first time Aubameyang was doing this in there. But Arsenal is left with only two centre forwards. Wait and see what is really going to happen at Arsenal with their two centre forwards. That is Nketiah, because Crystal Palace was pushing a move to sign Nketiah, but Arsenal say no, Nketiah is going nowhere. The same applies to a man who goes by the names of Alexandre Lacazette. In there, they said Alexandre Lacazette and Nketiah are really going to be our centre forwards that are really going to see us fight for the top 4 position in there of the Premier League table. But at the end of the summer, Arsenal are really going to suffer a lot because Alexandre Lacazette looks like he's going to go out on a free because his contract is running out in the summer. The same applies to Nketiah. His contract is going to run out in the summer. So I'm asking myself, how is Arsenal going to do or gonna go on this? But it looks like Arteta is trimming his squad and preparing for the summer, meaning that he might spend some other 150 million pounds in there for you. So that means he might bring in more 5 players in there, because when you look at the 147 million pounds he spent in the summer, he brought in Odegaard, he brought in Ramsdale, he brought in Lokonga, he brought in Nuno Tavares and Tomiyasu. 5 players in 140 million pounds in there for you. So that means if at all he really gets in an Ishak at 75 million pounds, that means you'll be left with 80, and I know they can really fumble out some good players in there and bring them at Arsenal. And remember, Arsenal signed some too. They signed a goalkeeper and a defender today on the deadline day, but they are really going to join them in the summer. So it shows you that Arsenal are very, very much into the business of signing more players at their club in there. And Aubameyang has been given a green light and he has left on free. Arsenal have terminated the contract of Aubameyang. He's in Barcelona as a free agent. They can register him anytime they want in there. So that's what we had for you here on the Rokani Media Football Transfer News. Aubameyang to Barcelona is a done deal. Smash the like button, comment and share. You can as well go to the live chat and tell him what you think about this deal of Aubameyang to a team which goes by the names of Barcelona, because Arsenal are left with only 2 centre forwards. Will they manage to compete for the top 4, for the 4th position of the Premier League? If at all they really don't have a 3rd striker, can they really look out for a striker who is on a free or a free agent and cast him in there? Because you remember United very well in the summer of 2020, they managed to bring in Edson Cavani. He was on a free transfer, and Barcelona is also looking out to terminate a contract of Ousmane Dembele because he's on a very huge salary and he has failed to be sold to any team in the January window transfer. So they feel like they can terminate it, and after terminating the contract, they let him go out and look for the club that is really going to house him, because he is a debulance and he's an injury-prone player, and Barcelona cannot allow this. And to make it worse, he has failed to renew his contract at Barcelona, and he does not want to get a pay cut of his salary in there. That is a man who goes by the names of Ousmane Dembele in there for you. But for Aubameyang, he joins players like Ferran Torres, and when you look at the centre forwards, there is a story that I read about a man who goes by the names of Barcelona in there. It was all about a player who goes by the names of Braithwaite. Yeah, I think it was Is it? All right, yeah, it was Braithwaite. It was really telling us the centre forwards that Barcelona are having. Now look, Barcelona, after signing in a player who goes by the names of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, they're having the following attack options as it stands: Ferran Torres, Memphis Depay, Adama Traore, Aubameyang, Dembele, Ansu Fati. They're having Gavi, they're having Braithwaite, and they're having Luke de Jong. So you now know what Barcelona has in its attacking force in there for you. So it looks like Barcelona are really ready to compete into the UEFA Europa League, and I really feel like they want to win it. They badly want to win it. And for a manager like Xavi, the best way to welcome you at a team which goes by the names of Barcelona and show them that you're really here to work a lot in there, you just have to know that you have to go and win such trophies in there. Now, there is a story coming in from Barcelona. They're saying that it's reported by Gabriel Sanz in there. Barcelona are unhappy with Dembele's behavior in the transfer market, and the club will hold a meeting on Tuesday to analyze a player's future. It was not ruled out that he would receive a release later. So Barcelona are really planning to release a player who goes by the names of Ousmane Dembele because his behavior is seen as unprofessional in there for you. That's what we had for you here onto the Rokani Media Football. But Aubameyang to Barcelona is a done deal. He has left Arsenal after Arsenal terminated their contract they had with him, and he's no longer a Ghana. He is now a player for Barcelona in there. That's what we had for you here onto the Rokani Media Football. We sign out for now. See you later in the morning. Bye-bye.